So, sorry about that interruption. The unique thing with the rear tailgate is that it has a three-way function. Because we use the electronic strikers, and we actually made brackets for extra pivots inside the tailgate itself. And then we took 1/4-inch cold rod and bent our own rods so that it wasn't just going down, trying to go down to the bottom, which was now non-functional, but to go to each side. So the tailgate on that pickup actually operates off the key or from the soft switch above the license plate, or I can pop the tailgate in the cab on the door card. That used to be the button to pop the rear hatch. That actually pops the tailgate. So it came out really, really well. When it came to the powertrain, once we got all the body roughed in and everything was welded, we were happy with the shapes. We stopped and said, we need to get the mechanics of this right before we start doing the final body work, and then we were all over the car with greasy hands. My son Robert and Chris Taylor from VW Group here looked at the motor, determined that the chains were bad, pulled the motor trans out. We acquired a 24 valve motor from a running car that we knew the car, so we knew that it was running good. We stripped that motor down, put new chains, new seals, new everything in it, new water pump, new crack pipe, new everything that it could need, and made it to that 01 M1 automatic transmission from VW, which everybody on the website said, no, you can't do that, it won't work, the computer won't talk to the ECU, yada yada yada. We did it anyway, because the converter bolted up to the flywheel just fine, or the flex plate. It bolted up to the motor just fine, it went in, shifted fine. When we got everything to where it was buttoned down and ready to start, we could not get stinger function to the starter, we could not get fuel pump to the fuel pump because of the permissives of exactly what people were saying. So we got in touch with my good friend Mystica out of Canada, who is a genius with VW electronics, by the way. And she said, sure, I'd like to help. I'm in for a good puzzle all the time. We did 3 or 4 video chats up here to where she would say, locate this wire coming from this terminal, cut it, and connect it to this pin on the ECU controller, or this pin on the transmission controller. And I think we did a total of, we swapped 9 or 10 wires around, and by that 5th night it fired off first try. So big shout out to her. So that pickup is unique in several different ways. The next thing was, how is it going to shift? Is it going to shift at the right points, because it wasn't intended by VW to be on this motor, and a 24 valve revs much quicker than a 12 valve does, and they're a peppier motor. I'm here to tell you it worked great. I don't know what the converter lockup signal is on it. It's all stock, how it came out of a 2000 Jetta GLX is where the transmission is out of. But when you take off in that and you put your foot to the floor, it barks when it shifts, and it shifts firm and hard. Everything works. Cruise control, it downshifts when it's supposed to. Everything worked out great. When it comes to the rest of it, the next part is probably what took us the longest. It was probably almost 7 months, because we weren't up here every day, and we had other things going on. Forming the back of the cab and getting all the curves right, and making the little templates, walking from one side to the other, saying, okay, it's too high here, it needs to come down. That's the approach we had to it. We had some more shrinkage on one side than the other, where we welded the door shut, so there was a bigger gap to fill. So there was more fiberglass used on that side. So there was a lot of forming. The rear tailgate section and around the lights was a huge amount of work, and most of it being short strand fiberglass, because you don't want more than 1/4 of an inch of bond or filler in any area on any vehicle. So it was a lot of fiberglass work. The color that I chose, I actually didn't have an intention for it. I found it on eBay. It was a full gallon unused for $70. I thought, well, it's a red metallic, it'll look good on it. So I went ahead and bought it. Change the subject a little bit. I went to buy some touch-up paint, because I've got a few nicks in the truck, and I wanted to add the rockers, which I've wanted to, but I had to do a bunch of work to them. So I had to spray them. And I went to Napa and I've got like half a pint left of that original paint. And they found it. It's Chrysler Starfire Pearl Metallic. I told him I needed 1/4 of it in single stage. He come back and at that time informed me that that paint has so much pearl in it that quart cost me $419. So I bought a $1,300 gallon of metallic paint for $70. Not bad. All in all, in that truck, the wheels were used, the tires were used, not even 300 miles on them, no plugs, no patches. That's how I built them. I don't buy everything new. I don't have sponsors to do all that. So I make things work and I look for deals. In my opinion, my truck is a daily driver. I don't do like some of these people that build the trucks and then they set and they set and they set and they set and they set, and then they'll take it to a car show or they'll go on a cruise during good weather, but the rest of the time it sets. Right now I have a fuel pump issue. Surprise. It's screaming like a banshee, and I'm getting an intermittent stutter, so I know it's the fuel pump going bad. But other than that, it was built to jump in it every day and run errands. That's what it was built for. And that's what I think it came out great. It's totally different. The same thing with my son's 2-door wagon, which we'll get into in another video segment. So that gives you a little bit of the history of how I built my pickup and what went into it. Mike from Uber Cool. We out.